Right, morning all, or should we say good afternoon. Excuse the squeaky bench. Right, I don't know what you'll see of this, I don't know what, but you get the general idea. Right. Lathes, turning, making pens, small items, you name it. Where do you start? Well, I'll start with tools. These are carbide tip tools. You can change them and they are sharp because I've cut my thumb 3 or 4 times when I've brushed off the shavings. There's literally a flat square one, and there's some that is about a 1 or 2 degree curve. This is more of a scraper and gets things nice and smooth. This is the general one. Once again, these carbide blades are about Chinese. You can get them for what, £1 or so each, if that. The normal tools I'll come to in a minute. So once again, there's that one. Then this one is a diamond. You get various shapes of diamond, and this is for close work, marks, you name it. Digging a little bit of a hole, whatever. There you go. Them are the 3 tools I use. Those 2 I use the most. These are handmade by David Lloyd. He makes these. I've got no truck with these at all. I can't remember what I paid for them. 25 quid each, 25, 30 quid. Might have been a bit more than that. But about that. The tips you can get from a box of 20 for less than 20, well, for about 20 quid, you know, from Chinaland and whatever. You don't need nothing too expensive. You can buy Robert Sorbet tools, and he sells this type of stuff, but you're talking 60 quid for the handle, then you're talking various other bits and pieces, but you're going to get bogged down into too much stuff. If you shop around, you can get these fairly reasonable, you know, and they do the job. You can use, if you go back to the standard lathe tools, which is the gouges, ball gouges, small ones, large ones, all sorts of tools. I can't even remember all of them, and it's not rehearsed, this is just off the cuff. I used to have a lot, you name it, and I sold them all, and I had a bigger lathe, and I got rid of that. That's not the issue. The issue is what you can use. So them are some of the tools. What I also have is I'm going to get it out now, is what I've just bought recently, which I did say, is a thing called a parting tool. And this is a parting tool, and you use this on this edge, which you can reasonably sharpen quite well. It's a thin tool, so it's when you're turning something, let's say a cup, a goblet or something else, and you want to then part it off a piece of wood, you use this. I haven't used this yet because I'm still waiting for some timber I want to make something. I won't say what I'm going to make. But there you go. So this is a parting tool. I should invest in one of those as well if you wanted. They will come in handy, I can assure you. The thin ones are always nicer because, as you say, it eats less wood. So you can use a smaller piece of wood where you're going to chop out with some of these. I've had some of these big ones that are about 1/4 inch, some of them, so they're just 2. That's a 2 mil, and that is Robert Sorbet. That's 25 quid. You might be able to get them cheaper, but there you go. So that's the first bit. Right, I'll come back to the second bit now. Right, back again. Right, the lathe which I've shown, or will show in a bit. I bought this lathe. It's a Charnwood W824. They're a genetic lathe, and I use the word Chinese again. Chinese are sort of knock these out, and people just badge them for what they are. Charnwood. Or Woodcraft, where to get these from. eBay, I think, and I had it with the jaws, and the jaws, put that down, they're only small jaws and they open up, and I've got another set coming which are a pin jaw, so these open up and I use that for 1 or 2 of the little jobs I use. Also on lathes, you'll notice this has got a slight taper. That's called a Morse taper. There's Morse taper 1, 2, 3, I think. I don't know if there's anything after 3. 1's small, 2's medium, 3's big, and basically it's a friction fit. Morse, not Inspector Morse, but Morse was the one who designed this because it's easy fit in, easy fit out. I used my lathe to actually drill my blanks. I used to have a pillar drill, I used to have a lot of things. I used to have a pillar drill and I used to use that for drilling out my blanks, but I do everything on the lathe. It's not slower, but you just have to modify, in other words, I tap out my tailstock in, put this in, when I finish tap that out, and I'll show the tapping stick in a minute because I'll move the camera. So that's Morse taper. So you can get Morse taper. Morse taper 2 is pretty much, or you get 16 thread and 8 thread as well, because the threads inside are either 8 or 16, sorry. There's various other bits and pieces you can use, but this does me. So I'm no good at editing, you see, so I have to stop and start. Sorry about the sudden end, the battery went. Making pens, so I'm going to jump about a bit. Making pens, you buy them in a little kit like this, and it'll have 2 7mm brass tubes, because these are the slimline and various derivatives. They're £2 or £3 each, approximately. You can get various colours and whatever. So there's your pen kit, like that, and it comes with 2 brass tubes. I take the brass tubes out because I always have a few. You can buy these separately, so I've got about 20 or 30 sets of, so that I can clean, prepare and get some blanks ready. So that's the tubes. You have to rough these up before you put them in. Then you get a blank, put the pen down, sorry about that. Then you get a blank, which is a bit of timber. This is a bit of Coca-Cola. It doesn't matter what you have. And you just drill, as I said before, excuse me, you can have them. These were what I cut and made myself from some laburnum that my daughter's in-laws cut down, and I kept them, so this is a few years old now. I burnt a load of it, but it's excellent timber. So you can make them. This is ideal for bigger pens. I don't make bigger pens at the moment, but I may do. But these are alright for various other little odds and sods. Plus I've got some more other bits and pieces. So what you do, you cut these into a certain size, which is like that, because that tube fits inside, and you drill a hole. And then you glue them in. You can use epoxy, or I use CA glue, which I find a lot of people use CA glue. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. Then you have 2 blanks like that. What you do as well, of course, is what I do, is like a lot of people do, is when you have this piece of wood, you put a couple of marks on there. So I know you can't see all of this, but you get the general idea. You put a couple of marks on there, like that, drill, drill. So when you put the pen back together, if you've got grain, like you have in some of the pieces, the grain will follow through. Then these go on the lathe. Now these go on a thing called a pen mandrel. You don't have to use a pen mandrel, but I can assure you it makes life a lot easier. You can turn between centres, but I'm sure a pen mandrel is the thing that you need. And this is, you know, I know they're about 20 odd pounds, give or take. 20, 25 pounds. Right, on to the next. Right, I'm not too sure about the footage because I've got the window here and you've got a glare, so it might just stop down. But anyway, I'm just doing this on ad hoc. This is the poker outer. Basically, the lathe has a hollow section. I don't know whether you can see that, you probably can. And then I just tap that out, and there's your Morse taper, which fits in. So if I want to put the drill in there, this has got a wear in it. You can hear I'm having to replace that, but I'm trying to find one that is not in the USA. I'll have to do that when I come back, because it's got a vibration in there which does me head in. There you go. Then you put this end here into this end, but because I'm stupid, I've got it close to the wall, I have to lift it. This is a pen mandrel. So a pen mandrel, I'll put this back up here. It fits in there because that's a Morse taper as well. So on here you'll have the 2 pieces of timber which I've sort of like explained. So I tend to fit them with bushing, and you have bushings. Oops, and the bushing goes on. So you put the pin on, bushing between, bushing at the end and bushing. Then you bring your tailstock up, clip it to the end, bang it hard because this one moves, tighten it up, right, and that's your bushings on, and that's your pen blanks on. Right, line up the tool, clip it down, check it doesn't catch anything. So there, we're pretty good to go. Now, this lathe has a variable speed. You can start off on a quite slow speed. I use about 1800, you can go a bit higher, but I use about 1800, that's fast enough for me. The faster you go, the quicker you go, etc, etc. So, if you want to see something turning, I can do that. I normally wear a mask, excuse me, into the front of the camera. And this is what I usually wear. It clips over my head, quite cheap and cheerful, and they clip on, and it does work because I can really puff away there and not taste or smell any dust. Certain timbers, I know you can't see my head by the way, so I apologise for that, but certain timbers, it's a must. Cocobolo is, can be an irritant. Laburnum is an irritant, and it's poisonous. So there you go. So I am here by the way. So there you go, I do wear a mask. For this intents and purposes, I won't wear a mask because I'll show you roughly what I do. So we'll come back to that in a second because I've got about 2 minutes 52 seconds. So I'll put the mask up there. So normally I'll start off with the round one, because we won't go through the square window, we'll go through the round window. So it's going to get a bit noisy now, so what I'm going to do is turn you off for a minute. Right, what you can hear now, that's the bearing. That's the bearing that's making that sound. So basically you start off and you take nice slow cuts. And I'm not going to go. Have this facing down a little bit because I find it doesn't snatch. I don't know what you can hear over the sound of this, but I'll do my best. Anyway, walnut cuts pretty good. Gentle stroke and gradually lifting the tool up, cutting the ends as you can see. Now I'm getting roughly close to what I want, so I take a little bit of time at the ends to round them off. Trying very hard not to catch the bearings. Same again from this one. Try not to catch the bearings with the tool. This scoper is sharp and it will dig into the bearings. I then take my scraper and then very gently come up to the bearings, scrape the timber. This takes away some of the imperfections of the other tool. And I feel that that's good enough. Turn that off. Have a quick look. I can do a little bit on the back again. So there you go, that's it. Now move that out of the way, check that the bushing is smooth there, pretty much, yeah. and then I sand off. Now, what I do is you can buy, I find these most convenient, excuse me again, I know you can't see my face and it's pointless, but never mind. You buy these, turner's mesh, and you just pull off so much and go up the grits from 180 to 600. I have some already on the back here, so what I'll do is I'll nip through the grits. Right, so put the machine on again, and all we're doing is lightly sanding. I would wear a mask, by the way, but like I said, it's very hard to talk with a mask on, I can assure you. Just check, go the other way, backwards and forwards, and I'll go up and down the grits like this. It's only very quick, by the way. Walnut's very easy to work with. I know you can't see everything exactly, but you're getting the general idea. There's a lot better videos on about making pens, I can assure you. But this is how I do it. This is not speeded up, but this wood ones I find quite easy. And I find that up to there, 600 is pretty good, you know. Right. Right, the next bit is get yourself some paper towels, cut them into bits and pieces, and you then apply, which I apply, a thing called a sanding sealer, which is once again paper towel, a little bit of a dab. This tends to seal off. Ready for, I'll call it polishing off. That dries off quite quickly. There's my rubbish pile. I'll put the lid back on. Excuse me, I keep going in front of you. I haven't really set this up yet. Then the magic ingredient, which is Yorkshire grit. That was pretty much dry because the wood has been in my care for some time. This is Yorkshire grit, and you just put a little bit on the rag like that, and this basically takes off any other imperfections. You give that a quick rub up and down, or you know, along the length. With a white wood you have to be careful because the bushing, the metal, it tends to take some of the metal off the bushings and ingrains into the timber. Now once you've got that sort of basically done, you turn it on. Try not to touch the bushings too much. This then gives that wood a little bit of polish. Now where you can see where the bushing has been caught there, if I then put that over the bushings, just to wipe them off, you can see how black that's gone, or hopefully you can. Well, that will go ingrain into the wood if you're not careful, so I clean that off first, then another little tiny bit, not too much pressure. Once again, trying to keep off the bushing, but make sure you get to the edge of the timber. That's done. Turn that off. That doesn't look too bad. Then the other ingredient, keep standing in front of the, I don't know what that is. I must get myself an opener. It's something else to use. These are just for the pens. The acrylics are far more time consuming. Hampshire sheen. It's a little bit of nice polish. You can use other things which I'll go into. You don't need a lot. I've had this quite some time. It's quite a hard sort of polish. There you go. Once again, put the machine on. Don't polish the bushings if you can help it, because you don't want to ingrain into the timber. You get a little bit of a speed on here, not much, and it gets nice and warm, it beds in. Changing it to the nice fresh bit here and moving up. She's very quick, I hope you can follow this. some Carner crystalline wax, which is a mixture, which is like a bit of a toffee bar. There you go. This fresh bit here will do, and that is like a hard finish. And if you get that quite hot underneath the fingers, that sort of like seals the wood. Until it gets a bit warm. There you go, done. There you go. So, where have we gone? No, that's not good. Yeah, I'm having a bit of a problem with the light from that window actually. So, you can see there generally what it is. Well, hopefully you can. There you go. So we'll go back now to pen assembling. Right, now this is a pen assembler. Makes light work of assembling the pen. You can't see my head again, never mind, let me just adjust that. See if that's any better. Oh, so, see any trouble with it? I can't edit. Okay. Well, you can't see my head, you can see the machine. So in here I have, it's a bit dark, it's some, as I said, some pen bits and pieces. The tubes are already missing. I'll put these out on here. This is very condensed version, hopefully. And so basically, I know that I need one. So I look at these, there's not a lot of grain in these that you can follow, so you're just looking for one that gives a nice effect. So I like this one. So we'll open these little type of bags, we'll put the tip in, that looks like it fits nice. So you put that in there, bring that up there and squish it in. 2 blanks down, put the twist mechanism in, which you squeeze. Then you put the pen in, give it a twirl, bit of paper to write on because they're actually sealed, the tips are. You then pop that down, you then put the centre ring on. You can get various centre rings. I have to use my nails on either side just to squeeze that over there like that. Then you got the cap, and once again, any imperfections you tend to put it at the top end there, which is called hidden. There's a slight imperfection, so it will go onto this end here. There, when I say slight, it is only slight, but I can see it. So that once again goes into one, like that. That squeezes onto there. Make sure you've got that right. A little bit of a squidge. There you go. Twist and pen. That's your finished item. There you go. Little turn, twist, another check on writing. There you go. That goes in the bag. There's a walnut pen. Okay? Very, very simplistic. And then the rubbish. Evidently I buy so many slimline pens and do so and so. I did turn a few other pens, which are the acrylic. I've moved away again. And terrible light conditions actually, but then again I never professed to be a film sort of like thing. I think I showed a bit of the blue one. Thought that was quite pretty, you know, sort of way. And quite like, because the bag doesn't do them justice, and I should take a picture by the window. Okay. So they'll be on the Etsy channel shortly. I spent all day yesterday on it, so redoing and rejigging everything. And what I do is I load 5 at a time. So this one will go in the side over there. There you go. Hope everything was okay. So I'm going to turn that off now. I'm coming up there. Turn that. Right, so I haven't fiddled with my settings, so I don't know whether I'll be on there or not. Hopefully I will be. A bit far away. Anyway, so there you go. That's a very simplistic view on pen making. The lathe, as I says, you can spend as much as you want to spend. Variable speed, I would recommend. You can use normal lathe tools, which I've said. The finishes and the products like that, that's what I tend to use. When I do the acrylics, it's a lot different. They turn a lot harder, and when I mean harder, you can dig into acrylic, so you have to be quite careful. And then it goes through I think it's a 10-stage sanding process down to about 8,000 grit to get it reasonably smooth. And there you have it. The pen thingy here, they're about 50 to 60 pound. I used to do a little clamp and everything else to put them together, but after scratching a few pens you think to yourself, no, get a thing, you know, it saves 2 minutes and you're done. And it will fit all pens naturally because you just take the blanks out and various other bits and pieces. Well worth the money. What else can I say? What else does anybody want to know? There's some great pen makers on there, which I've followed years and years ago, and some great turners on there, which I've followed years and years ago. I can't turn what I used to turn, I can't make what I used to make, so I am now doing something that I've always quite liked. I've always been a woody type person. That's probably what's in my head at the moment, actually. So there you go, enough ramble, because this is going to go on long enough. I'm going to put this up in one go and hopefully it will turn out okay. So I'm sorry if it's not edited brilliantly, or I'm sorry that some of the photos seem a bit dark, but I'll see how that goes. Hopefully it will turn out. Hopefully, there you go. And don't forget, I love you. I love you more. Okay, thank you very much. And off we jolly well go.